Okay, this is the Denton DV 602. It's an RF sputter with a turbo pump vacuum chamber. Now here's our RF generator, turbo controller, the control panel. So where I'm at right now is I have it under vacuum, and we're pretty close to 4 times 10 to the minus 6 torr on our vacuum. I have it in an auto pump. I'll go through this later. I have our matching network turned on and in auto mode, and I have our generator set to 200 watts. I think the max on that is 300 watts. I have argon hooked up and nitrogen hooked up for the argon for the sputter deposition, nitrogen for the venting. We have a house chiller on there running at 20C just for cooling. So our matching network up here, so cool, we'll see cathode and the matching network. This does have the capability of filling in liquid nitrogen into a liquid nitrogen trap that's inside the chamber here, and that most likely will help you the vacuum come down a little bit lower. But with a turbo pump, mid 6 range is typical. So you do give you a funnel that would attach right here, and you go ahead and pour your nitrogen in. We do have when I turn the argon valve on, there's a shut-off valve here, and then a needle valve to control the pressure. So right now I have when I turn it on, we'll see that the pressure is set for 10. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. We're ready to do a deposition. We'll go ahead and turn our rotation on, table rotation. I'll turn the gas on, and you have to open this manual valve here. I set the needle valve so it's going to bring it up to about 10. Using the gas pressure gauge here, the Hastings gauge, somewhere around 9 or 10. So once that's stabilized, I'll give it about a minute, let it come up, make sure that the pressure is correct, and I'll go ahead and turn on the RF generator. See slowly rising, but it'll stabilize somewhere around 9 or 10. And again, that's adjustable with the needle valve. Just a slight change. The pressure on the argon somewhere around 20 psi. Nitrogen, you only need about 10 psi for the vent. If it's too high, the vent valve won't open. All right, so our pressure looks good. Now at this point, all I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hit the RF on. You'll have manuals for all the instructions on this sent to you. The manuals that we do have. So I'll go ahead and I'm going to hit RF on, RF power. You can see the plasma inside. You may be able to see the table turn. We'll open up the chamber in a little while. As you can see, we're at 200 watts, zero reflected, and our matching network somewhere in the center. It should be adjusted so it's in the center. That's close enough in auto mode. And at this point, you can adjust your power up and down. Just want to point that out. And then you have a faster adjust. Pretty sure 300 is the max on this. Yeah, so max power, 300. Then to shut it off, you just go ahead and hit the RF off. And we'll go ahead and turn the gas off. You see it's at 10. We'll turn that off. It's best to close this down. Otherwise you have basically a virtual leak and it'll take a long time for the chamber to pump down. Because there's a very long line being in. point, we'll go ahead and let it pump down a little bit more. You see the gauge, I forgot, it's probably best to turn the gauge off before you turn the gas on, but it does have a protect, so when it's in the high 4 range, it automatically shuts off. It did shut off by itself. I'll go ahead and just put that in the off position. And just to show you, in order to read the vacuum inside, what you'll need to do is go to on, and then hit the meter read. You see that the light comes on. In the on position, you'll go ahead and adjust it to 0. Just give it a little time to stabilize. It's pretty close. It should be. And then you can go ahead and select your range. That's the 4 range, 5 range, and we're back to the 6 range. Okay, so at this point we're going to vent the chamber up, so what you would do is go ahead and shut that gauge off. We can go right to auto vent. See the vacuum valve for the turbo pump stays on. I can go ahead and shut my rotation off. The vent valve is turned on. And you can look at, here's your 4-line pressure here. You can look at your chamber pressure or your Easting gauges available there too. We'll give it a few seconds to let it vent up. We'll go ahead and open the chamber. I just want to point out too, there's this little valve here, little on-off valve. That'll vent your 4-line and your vacuum pump. If you shut your vacuum pump down, it's best to bleed it back to atmosphere. So when you power the system down, it's best to just open that up. It'll bleed the 4-line fluid. Bring it back up to atmosphere. Alright, there's no indication, but there is an interlock on the hoist, so if it's not at atmosphere, I won't allow you to raise it. And it's still venting. While we're waiting for it to vent, I just want to point out some of the utilities other than the 2 gas lines we have here. We are using 208 3-phase with a neutral and a ground, so it's a 5-wire connection. I have it on a 30 amp breaker. So you'll just need to plug that cord in. The pump gets power to the system. So here's our vacuum pump. That's the pump you'll receive. Most likely we'll drain the oil before it leaves here, put a note on it. You'll need to fill it with oil first. Just attach it here. And then we have our gas in for argon, vent gas. We have our 2 cooling lines in and out, doesn't matter which direction it is. We have our pressure, air CDA. For our hoist down here, and label CDA here too. So I just teed off and using the same compressed air for the hoist as well as the CDA in to operate some of the valves. And we have that set, I have that set at 60 PSI. There is an emergency off here. Let's go around the front and we'll see if it's at atmosphere, and we'll raise the chamber. See, now we'll be able to raise the chamber. At this point, I'm just gonna let's raise the chamber. We'll leave it in auto vent. The problem with leaving it in auto vent is the vent stays on. So typically, what I would do is just switch it over to manual and leave the vacuum valve open. Okay, so there's our side of our chamber. It's all been cleaned up. Now if you look up, I don't know if you can see up in there, there's our target. Now in order to change the target, you'll have to change the target from the cathode. You can either remove the target, have someone remove the target and bond another target to this cathode, or purchase another cathode with the target that you want to interchange. You'll need to call Denton on that, and they'll explain what they have available for you. And I'll go ahead and turn the rotation on. You can see the table is rotating. This is our gas in line here. That's about it. Oh, I can't think of it. Oh. Okay, so from here, this will be typical. Basically, you'll have your rotation off. Right now, we're in manual mode. You load your work in here. You can bring your hoist down by hitting the lower button. And you can see as I release it, it stops. Typically what you want to do is bring it pretty close. You can see the speed's pretty quick here. And then just slowly step it down. You don't want to crash it into it. At this point you can do a manual pump. For instance, I could turn the roughing valve on here. So I can control different things here. I can turn the vacuum valve on and off. And again the vent on. But just to show you that manual, I don't want to open the high vac valve now, it's still that atmosphere. Just to demonstrate that the manual position does work, you turn your turbo on and off here. All you need to do is turn the turbo switch up. To the right is the on position, it's typically left in the on position. I'll go ahead and put the vacuum valve on. And at this point, the mechanical pump too is just turned on and off here. You'll hear that turn on. I'll go ahead and just do an auto pump down. All the switches should be down. So both these gauges read the pressure of the chamber. As long as you have it in a chamber position. Or you can look at your 4 line on your turbo pump. Right now it's low. Because we're close. And if you have to manually tune your matching network at any point, you can just flip to your manual position here. And you can see that they'll move to a limit. And then it'll give you a limit indicator. Either plus or minus. So that's adjusting your tuning cap. And we'll go all the way over. So hit the limit. We'll bring it some. It's best to keep it somewhere in the middle of the start. And then the same is true with this one, so I'll just move this over to the right. So this is controlling the tuning caps in your matching network. You see the high vac valve open in auto pump down mode. And you can hear your turbo accelerating. Just want to point out, if you see it's a green light now, it was yellow. The yellow light means that it's not at full speed. So looking at our chamber, we're low enough here now where we can go ahead and turn our vacuum gauge on, cold cathode gauge. So we'll put that to the on position. Go ahead and the meter, the light turns on. Give it a few seconds, we'll go ahead and zero it. Go through our ranges. 10 minus 4, 10⁻⁵. Right now it's at roughly 4 times 10⁻⁵. So that's about it on our demonstration. We went through everything, and again, you'll receive manuals on the system.